They called her Nana, the one who scrubbed floors with her bare hands and walked like the moon kissed her ankles. She wore the same green scarf every day, tied low over her forehead like a village widow who had no more dreams, only duties. But if you ever looked too long into her eyes, those thick, black, honey-slow eyes, you'd swear she was watching your soul unrobe itself. Nana worked in the high-rise glass building on Cazola Avenue, the one owned by Leo Santoro, the half-Italian, half-Ghanaian billionaire whose face was more famous than any president and whose lips had whispered to more women than the wind. He wasn't just rich, he was obsession carved into flesh. Everything he wore shimmered. Even his silence spoke in currencies no one else could afford. But this isn't about Leo. Not yet. It started the night the city rain fell sideways and the sky cracked like old clay pots. Nana was mopping the marble floors of Leo's private suite. He had gone to Monaco for a deal, so the office was quiet. Too quiet. She heard footsteps that didn't belong to the guards, low voices slithering like snakes in silk. She didn't mean to listen. But when the voice belonged to Kobai, Leo's closest friend, his blood brother, the man who once took a bullet for him, she paused. Kobai was speaking on the phone, his voice soaked in venom, not loyalty. He said things no friend should ever say. Once Leo signs, we clean him out. Then I take half, and she takes the rest. He'll never see it coming. He trusts me too much. Nana's mop dropped to the floor. She didn't know why her heart beat like jungle drums. Maybe because betrayal always has a scent, and she'd smelled it before in the village when her uncle had sold their land to strangers for a bottle of gin and a woman's thighs. The next morning, Leo returned. Nana waited by the elevator, trembling. Cleaners didn't speak to kings. But she wasn't just a cleaner. She was a woman carved by instinct and sharpened by survival. She bowed her head when he passed. "Sir," she said, voice thick as fresh fufu, "there is something you must hear. It concerns Kobai." He paused, looked at her like a giraffe watching a mosquito. "What about him? He plans to betray you. I heard him. Last night." But Leo laughed, that deep, velvet laugh that made models throw their panties across rooms. "You heard wrong, woman. Kobai is my brother." She wanted to press her forehead to the floor and scream the truth into the tiles. But she simply nodded, her warning hanging in the air like wet laundry. Then came the next day. It began like any other, a sunrise too bright for the sins about to be committed. Nana was wiping the fingerprint off Leo's gold elevator button when the alarm went off, not the fire alarm. The vault alarm. His secret vault, the one only Kobai knew about. She froze, guards rushed past. Leo's voice boomed through the corridors, then a gunshot. Just one. Then silence by the time she reached the private suite. Kobai was on the ground. Blood painted the white rug like red wine on snow. His hand still clutched a flash drive, the one Leo had told no one about except him. Leo was standing there, shirt open, chest rising like waves crashing against betrayal. His face had cracked, the kind of crack that doesn't heal. And Nana, she stood in the doorway, her body suddenly aflame. He looked at her. "You tried to warn me." "Yes," she said softly. He walked toward her, each step heavy with the weight of almost losing everything. When he reached her, his fingers brushed her cheek like they were testing for lies or maybe just gratitude. Her breath caught. Then he did the most unexpected thing. He kissed her, not the kiss of a billionaire. Not the cold, practiced kiss of a man who owned the world. No, he kissed her like a man who had just been reborn. Like a man who realized that sometimes God sends angels disguised in rags and mop water. She melted. Right there against the elevator wall, she tasted salt and sweetness, fear and fire. His hands were all over her, and hers, Lord forgive, found places she never thought would welcome them. It was like thunder wrapped in honey. Like vengeance danced into lust. "I owe you everything." He whispered into her ear. She looked up at him. "Then take it." And he did, not just her lips, not just her body. He took the weight off her back. The shame, the poverty, the curse of being invisible. He didn't just pay her. He dressed her in silk, in diamonds, in desire. And the world would whisper weeks later, "Who is she? The cleaner he now travels with." And blogs would explode with theories, photos, scandals. But none would know the truth of what happened the day a poor woman warned a king, because sometimes the story isn't about who dies or who lives. It's about who finally sees you. And oh, Leo Santoro saw her. That night they burned together. Not with candles, not with wine, with something older than both. He held her against the window of his penthouse, the city blinking below like stars caught in headlights. And when she moaned his name, it wasn't the moan of a servant. It was a queen's cry, victorious and raw. But even queens must be careful, because the next morning the news broke. Kobai hadn't been working alone, and Nana was now a target. They didn't sleep that night. No, sleep is for the ordinary. Nana and Leo made a fire between their skins, and the walls of the penthouse still echoed with the sweet, savage music of their bodies meeting like thunder kissing earth. The city lights below bore witness. The moon watched in jealousy. He worshipped her, not just her curves, not just the way her skin shimmered like wet cocoa under golden light, but the strength in her. He kissed her like he was apologizing to every woman he had ever ignored, and she received him like a woman who had finally been seen, finally been tasted the way she deserved. Nana, he breathed, his voice hoarse as if he'd run across a desert just to say her name. She whispered, her body wrapped around him, her legs still trembling from the last time he buried himself so deep she forgot how to speak. Stay with me, not just tonight, not just this week, stay. She smiled. A slow, knowing smile. You sure, billionaire man? You ready to love a woman who knows how to clean your house and break your enemies? He groaned. Not from pain. From the way her words wrapped around his spine like a hot hand. You already broke me. Now rebuild me, Nana, make me yours. And she did. But it wasn't over, not yet. Because while the world was still sipping morning coffee, while they were still tangled in silk sheets and sweat and the perfume of pleasure, the door buzzed. Leo threw on a robe. Nana, naked and golden in his bed, stretched like a goddess preparing for battle. He opened the door, and in walked a woman. Tall, fierce, eyes like sharpened knives, Kobai's sister. I know what your cleaner did, she said, eyes locking onto Nana's bare silhouette in the background, and I will finish what my brother started. Leo didn't flinch. Your brother betrayed me. He's lucky he died before I made him regret it, she smirked. And you, falling for the maid, typical, weakness always wears perfume. That was when Nana rose, unbothered, naked, glorious. She walked straight to the woman and stood inches from her face. Try anything, Nana said, voice low. And I will clean this floor with your blood. The woman hesitated. She wasn't expecting that, because nobody ever expects the poor girl to become queen. 2 hours later, Nana and Leo were on a private jet to Zanzibar. No security. No drama. Just champagne, ocean winds, and the kind of love that makes billionaires forget how to count. He fed her mangoes with his fingers. She kissed sugar off his lips. And as the plane drifted above clouds like soft pillows, he whispered, You saved me. She curled into his arms. You believed me. That's even rarer. He slid a ring onto her finger, not with a big speech, not with cameras, just with trembling hands and eyes full of truth. I want every day to feel like last night, he said, and when she smiled, he knew he had everything, because once upon a time she was just a cleaner. Now she was the queen of his world, and the woman who'd mopped floors now walked on marble. Wearing diamonds, not dust, the world would talk. Oh, they would scream, but they could never touch what these two built in silence and fire. Because in a city full of secrets, the greatest story was simple. A poor woman warned a king, and he listened, and loved her for it forever.